Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Time. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we examine news, headlines from our city, state, and country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions on how to stay well-connected here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. Today is Thursday, September 19, and it is a pleasure to see you today. Yesterday, Logan, our friend Logan, sent me a message saying something along the lines of, well, this weather feels a lot like October. And I wrote him back and I said, shh, don't tell anybody. And the point that I was trying to make is, yes, boom, it's been warm during the daytime, but fresh and cool in the morning and in the evenings. I wanted to stay that way, so I'm choosing not to say much about it. I hope wherever you are, the weather is wonderful. If you are here, I hope you're having a great time. If you are in the process of counting days to come here, I hope you're getting excited. And it is, oh my goodness, look at Gary watching from Mexico City, sending no earthquake vibes. Today is National Earthquake Simulation Day, and there's always this behind the head notion of, oh my God, are we going to have an earthquake? Wasn't it last year or the year before that we had an earthquake simulation, and then like a few minutes later we had an earthquake here in town? I forget, or maybe I dreamt about it. Regardless, I have a bunch of news to share with you today, and I hope you're looking forward to that. So we might as well get started. As always, let me click on that to make sure it's ready. If you have anything important that you wish to share and you're looking for a reaction, please add a capital letter Q to your comment. If you are watching live for the first time and you would like a little acknowledgement, just write a capital letter N. And of course, if you're watching later on Facebook or YouTube, it's so happy to have you. And we appreciate the fact that you take some time from your busy schedule to connect with Puerto Vallarta through our news and our stories. So let's take a look at the weather. Not the weather, Paco, focus. This is the news. Federal Minister of Tourism Miguel Torruco was in Puerto Vallarta yesterday, and his duties included updating the designation to the 9 Pueblos Mágicos, or magical towns, in the state of Jalisco. Now, it is worth noting that updating the designation means that if any of the existing Pueblos Mágicos happens to fail to abide by the characteristics required to be a Pueblo Mágico, the towns could actually lose all the benefits that come along with the naming, plus the naming itself. As a reminder, the magical towns in Jalisco that are close to Puerto Vallarta are San Sebastián del Oeste, Mascota, Talpa de Allende, and these are the ones that are near our city. And elsewhere in the state, we have Mazamitla, Tapalpa, Tequila, Lagos de Moreno, Tlaquepaque, and Ajijic, a total of 9 Pueblos Mágicos in our state. all of them great opportunities to visit and explore. And of course, during his visit, Minister Torruco also delivered 3 new patrol vehicles for our municipality to be used as part of the so-called Green Angels Patrol. And these are vehicles that circulate in the state highways looking for vehicles or tourists in distress. There is a total of 500 Green Angel patrols circulating throughout Mexico's federal highways. And last but not least, while he was here, Minister Torruco also delivered the title to Colonia Americana in Guadalajara. And of course, as we announced yesterday, it became the very first magical neighborhood in the state of Jalisco. For those who haven't explored it, Colonia Americana is awesome thanks to its history, its culture, its restaurant offerings, and its quality of life, among other things. And in other news, Puerto Vallarta's Council of Restricted Permits granted 71 liquor licenses, out of which 46 were modifications to previously existing permits, and the rest, went to new establishments. So moving forward, we'll have new places to drink and toast to all the lovely things that are yet to be addressed by the outgoing administration. Snarky warning ahead. Take a look at the current state of Montessori Street near the Joya Hospital. Remember this street? I mean, we've been talking about it for 3 years, and it still has not been paved. And now it has been deemed undrivable due to the flooding and all the deep potholes that have developed on the street. Why the city has yet to address this important road is a huge mystery for me, and I feel strongly for the people that live in that neighborhood and would like to see this issue resolved yesterday or the day before. And just as a reminder, as we mentioned yesterday, today is National Drill Day, and local authorities are preparing for the event, which will take place at 11 o'clock in the morning today. So if you receive an alarm on your cell phone or you hear an alarm in the distance, kindly disregard. Last but not least, this is good news, I suppose, for our relationship with other countries. The White House has just confirmed that First Lady Jill Biden will visit Mexico along with a yet-to-be-determined delegation to attend Claudia Sheinbaum's presidential inauguration this coming October 1st. Mexico's first woman president is about to become Mexico's first woman president. How about that? And let's turn over to the weather, which I haven't turned on. I got so prepped this morning because I have a doctor's appointment at noon, and I thought I took care of everything, but clearly I did not. But here it is. Snarky Weatherman keeps it simple this morning and says it's partly cloudy. Enjoy. And you know, I will. It is 29 degrees right now. Humidity is at 68%. That is very comfortable. And of course, our weather forecast says that we're going to have partly cloudy skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 23%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. Tomorrow, we can expect mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 50%, a high of 32, and a low of 25. And then Saturday, we can expect light rain throughout the day with a high of 32 and a low of 26. All of this sounds dreamy to me. It does. And of course, it's Thursday, so it's Thursdays at El Rey Lounge. So you know where I'm going to be sipping red wine and enjoying the air conditioning later on today. And that deserves one of these. Boom, boom. Yes. In other news, I do wish to report on yesterday's Spotlight because it was a lot of fun. I wish to apologize to a couple of people that showed up to be part of the audience. We usually broadcast from the cafe at El Rio. the Cafe Rio Da at the Joint Boutique Hotel. But unfortunately, yesterday, there is a level above the cafe that is not part of the hotel, and it is an apartment. There are apartments there that are owned by the owners of the building, and they were doing construction, and it was so freaking loud. There was no way we were going to be able to broadcast from there, so we settled in one of the small offices, which was great, but it prevented a couple of audience members from joining us and asking questions. Yesterday, we had the pleasure of welcoming the lovely Carmen Porras from Oculto, who once again whet our appetite with some Mexican ingredients that will be used in her upcoming Mexican Independence Celebration dinner that will take place later on in the month. And of course, we'll have information about this in today's show notes. And then, of course, we welcome the lovely Giga Watts, a lovely local writer who published her own journal. It's called Unlimited Mindset, a daily manifestation journal, and it was a pleasure to hear her history. She recently moved here from the United States with her husband and 3 kids, and she was lovely to spend time with, and it was just great to enjoy her enthusiasm for having a more balanced, more in touch with oneself daily life. And as I promised yesterday during the broadcast, I will include a link to the book, which you can find on Amazon.com. I recommend the book version instead of the Kindle version because this is a journal. This is a journal in which you will write. It is large and comfortable with lots of space. So I am sure that if you're a journal writer, you will definitely enjoy the book. And of course, if you missed yesterday's spotlight, a link will be provided in today's show notes. Last but not least, before we jump into our chat section, I want to remind you that a week from today, we're going to have Great Mexican Songs Volume 2, my next music appreciation presentation celebrating wonderful things about Mexican music. This is a follow-up of Great Mexican Songs, which was Volume 1, although we didn't call it as such. And this time, instead of focusing on older popular songs, I took a look at the last couple of decades primarily, and we're going to explore songs by groups such as Molotov, Café Tacuba, Rocío Dúrcal, Alejandro Fernández, Natalia Lafourcade, Lila Downs, Julieta Venegas, and Rigo Tovar. There are going to be a couple of earworm surprises here and there. And most importantly, you will have a chance to check out the lyrics, the translation of the lyrics for these songs, which I will provide. And you will learn a little bit more about Mexico's musical psyche through these songs that just about any Mexican national can recognize in just a few bars. But now, let's jump to our chit-chat section. What do we got? What do we got? Lots of good mornings, which are always wonderful to read. And let's see. Good morning, all from Emiliano Zapata and that you cluster. And I suppose it's thank you, cluster, for contacting me about the 2 Pedro Páramo translations, as Paco says, connections. Isn't it great when we develop the comfort level to ask questions of one another? It just fills me with joy when this happens. And needless to say, it fills me with joy when I find out that you are curious about anything that has to do with Mexican-ness, with all things Mexico. And it was so funny because yesterday, Carmen and I started talking about class distinction in Mexico, and we touched base on whitexicans, and it's a big rabbit hole. One of these days we'll really dive into it, but we've talked about this before, but it was fun to try to find a polite way to express certain thoughts and feelings on the spot. Carmen, if you're watching, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but it was great to see you, as always, yesterday. Um, what? 5 days without rain. Don't forget to water your green babies. Thank you very much for that, Logan. That is wonderful. Um, thank you, Paco. Oh my goodness. Hold on just a second. Okay, thank you, Paco, for letting me view the spotlight on replay. It was wonderful, and I want you to spill the tea. Yes, yesterday we invited people that were watching to mention if they want to have a better understanding of white chickens, and we will go there at some point. I think it's interesting to explain the parallels between white chickens, which essentially is light-skinned Mexicans that live in the bigger cities and think differently, or think they think differently from people that are a little browner in color like myself. There's an interesting parallel between that and some of the expectations that some expats bring to the table. Distant cousins, maybe not. I think there's a lot of room for knowledge and awareness. We'll find a good way to air all this information in a constructive and nurturing way. That I am certain of. Let's see. Boom, ba-dum, bum, bum. Daniel is coming into town, I dare say. I believe it's tomorrow. And Daniel, we need to find some time to catch up, and we need to find some time for me to interview you about your wonderful work. A lot of people have expressed interest in learning more about my live streaming older brother. So I am looking forward to seeing you. Let's see what else. And here's Carmen, Speak of the Devil. Thank you for that reminder. We also talked about the fact that today, not 2 days ago, but today is the deadline to order your chiles en nogada by noon if you wish to pick them up at Oculto this coming Saturday. Carmen, te adoro. It was great to have a conversation with you as always. Let's see. Paco, your voice sounds especially sexy today. You know what I'm doing? I am wearing my headphones because I want to make sure that the quality of sound that you get is the best possible. And it's funny because when I'm wearing my headphones and it's connected to the audio mixer, I can hear myself and it makes me feel sexy. So I don't intend to sound sexy, but it is the bottom line is I'm just trying to make sure that you get what you deserve. And thank you for the feedback to you, and thank you for the feedback to Chris. I very much appreciate it. And wouldn't that street be an emergency, especially safety-wise? Yes, it would. I suppose you're referring to Maria Montessori. It's so ironic that it's located next to a freaking hospital. And it is a street that, because of where it's located, we've looked at the map before, it would alleviate a lot of the traffic that gathers around the maritime terminal, people trying to get from one place to another. But, you know, what can I tell you? I don't understand how the city prioritizes what they have to fix, and it is unfortunate. Let's see what else we have. There is a queue. Hope your doctor's appointment is nothing serious. It is not. As you know, or I don't think it is. Well, I hope it isn't. I have been doing neurofeedback sessions, and there is a laser acupuncturist whose practice is right next to my friend Stan's practice, and Stan wanted to take advantage of what she does, his neighbor doctor, and wanted to take some measurements of my energy. And this is something that is very new to me, this type of procedure. But it involves measuring your, and I have the card here somewhere. I will look it up. Once I'm better educated about this, I will be so happy to let you know about it, because it is a special type of acupuncture that is laser based. So you get a tiny bit of a bzzz with a laser, and it goes a long way just for a few seconds when compared to having somebody put needles in your body. So I'll keep you posted on this. Again, this is all new to me, and I am curious to see what the outcome of this will be. Let's see. Brian says, interesting that Colonia Americana is a Barrio Mágico. To me, it feels like any neighborhood in a big city. Don't get me wrong, it's a super cool neighborhood. The requirements must be different than those to be a Pueblo Mágico. Seems like Barrio Mágico is maybe solely a marketing ploy. You know, Brian, I think there are detractors to both Pueblos Mágicos and Barrios Mágicos that would agree with you. I don't know what the qualifications are for either designation. But what I do know is that once you receive the designation, you have a certain responsibility to maintain the town or the neighborhood in the way it is, and not to make changes that would take away from the designation. So regardless of whether it is a marketing ploy or not, the part that I hold on to is the fact that once you've been given the designation, you better watch out, and you better, not you obviously, but the place in question has that commitment. They have this commitment that they have to maintain certain things. A certain specific situation comes to mind when Sayulita in Nayarit received the designation of being a magical town, and then all the sewer issues came to light in the town. You know, you have to wonder if, or one has to wonder if Sayulita deserves to be called a Pueblo Mágico. But again, it's out of my turf. What I appreciate about Colonia Americana is that it is, I feel comfortable, I feel safe, I enjoy myself walking there, and it is awesome during the weekends. Boom, boom, boom. Seeing it's drill day, will there be many people walking the streets with a drill in hand? Actually, I don't think so, Chris, unless they're gringos, because we don't use the word drill in Spanish. So if there are any people walking the streets with a drill in hand, it's got to be gringos who didn't know any better. That was such a stretch, Chris. You tried. I don't think that was very funny, but it was not funny. Is there a restaurant serving chiles en nogada in Versalles? As a matter of fact, there is. El Mesón de los Sabores is serving chiles en nogada in Versalles. I know because I went the other day, but I could not tell you how long they're going to be holding on to this. How long they're going to be serving them. Again, chiles en nogada are a seasonal dish, and you know you have to have access to the ingredients to make them. But it's called El Mesón de los Sabores. It's a lovely neighborhood restaurant on Calle Roma. And let's see. Frank, is the weather getting nicer, or is it my imagination? I think we don't want to talk about it because we don't want the weather to turn back to nasty, humid, and yuckiness. But yes, between us, I do think the weather is starting to get slightly nicer. There's still a ways to go. We still have the rest of September, and the weather usually doesn't turn until around this time in October, or maybe even later. So enjoy the blessings of a nice day or a nice bunch of days, and let's hope that we can hold on to it for as long as we can. And I think we're done. Yes, I think we are done with your questions and comments, so I think it's time to wrap this up. And as always, I thank you for joining me for Coffee and Headlines. I thank you for supporting the broadcast. Every time you buy Luna and I a coffee, every time you make a decision to become a member, every time you attend one of my music appreciation presentations or purchase something from our shop on Buy Me a Coffee, you are helping us stay here and continue to produce content that can help you connect with the city. So as always, If you find something that is useful, amusing, or help you better appreciate the here and now of Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, Mexico, then thank you very much for all your contributions. I will see you again tomorrow morning, so have a great day.